Okay, so we have our master and we have our brake booster here. We have some energy suspension steering shaft bushings and to install on this thing. We're taking this out now. All of these brake lines are disconnected. I'm gonna take the brake booster out from inside, and then we're gonna pop the master off and get that thing out of there, clean anything behind it and paint it, and then we're gonna throw the new stuff in. All right, so what you need to do is drop your steering column with those 2 bolts that go up here, and then drop these 2 that go to this bracket here, and the nuts go here. And then right back there, you can see there's a nut there, and then there's one right above it. I already got these 2 off, but you need to drop this to get to those. Otherwise, it's gonna be pretty difficult to get to. So if you have a nice Milwaukee ratchet of some sort, this makes it very simple. You just kind of get on in there and take them off. So and voila. And now that that's disconnected, we should be able to pull this out here. You may have to remove the right, we got a pin as well. Forgot about that. All right, so now we should be able to pull this out of here finally. Maybe, possibly. Might be a little stuck. So with quite a bit of wiggling here, we got it out. The master and the brake booster, and I went ahead and started to paint the bottom down there, and we're just gonna hit this a little bit with paint. Even though it's not rusty, I'm just gonna do it anyways just for extra protection, and then we should be good to throw the new brake booster in with the new master and bleed the brakes, and hopefully we should be taking this to the track again. Cleaned up the reservoir brand new, put it on the new master. Dude, look at that shit. Fire. My old one says USA. I got a Japan one now, bro. Alright, so just got the pin back in. You can see it right here. And then all you gotta do is throw this little clip back in through there. All right, so I had the interior put all back together, and the brake booster is together with the master, and I started filling up the fluid, and now we're just gonna go ahead and start bleeding the brakes and get this thing back and ready to drive. So right now we're just going ahead and bleeding the brakes. My homie is bleeding the valve, and I'm just going ahead and pumping. We'll get the whole system done. We're starting with the right passenger side. We're gonna go to the back driver side, and then we're gonna go to the passenger front, and then the driver front. Holding. Holding. So the brake booster and the master are now in and bled. The brakes feel way better than they did before. Not that they were bad before, but this has maximum pressure. It feels absolutely perfect. So I'm excited to drive it tomorrow for the first drive. And then right afterwards, I'd like to get these energy suspension polyurethane steering rack bushings in, so that way we can make sure that we have no play while we're driving in the rack, because I kind of feel like maybe it has a small bit of play. Those bushings are 30 years old plus, so I'm sure that there's a little bit of movement. So that should help a lot. And then I'm sure we have other few little things we got to get to, and then we should be good to go. Alrighty, so took the other sock off the other master, so I'm gonna go ahead and put a nice new one on there. Yeah, the colors don't match in the bay for right now, but safety first. Doesn't really matter about the looks. So we got those in there for the next time we hit the track. I don't have to worry about that. And then all I gotta do is take the thermostat out, and then we won't overheat anymore as well. And I still have to do a few other things we'll get to. All right, so we got another day with more work. And as you can see in the corner there, we have something new for the car. We're gonna go ahead and turn this thing on for the last time with this exhaust system and compare it to the new exhaust system. Set you guys up here for a good comparison. So that is my eBay 3-inch exhaust with a custom muffler on it. And now we're gonna go ahead and switch to the next exhaust, and I'll explain exactly what it is when we get to there. Now that we got the old exhaust off, we can go ahead and throw on the new exhaust, and I'll show you guys what that is now. This is just a cheap little eBay alternative to a 3-inch pipe. And now we have these from a buddy of mine. I worked on his motor, throwing all his turbo stuff in and out, and we still got to go get his car running. He was generous enough to give me his ISR blast pipes because he did not like the style of it. It came with his car. He didn't really care too much about it, so he decided to pay me in the exhaust to work on his car. So shout out to you, Eli. I appreciate you, buddy. This is going to be amazing on the car, so I'm really excited. Let's just get into installing this thing and hearing what it sounds. So the pieces of the exhaust that work with my car are right here. The only piece that did not work is the turbo downpipe because I'm not turbo yet, but that will work as soon as we turbo the car. Besides the fact, all of these pieces work. So axle back, blast pipes, mid pipe with the little muffler, and then we have the ISR resonator here. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the ISR resonator if it's too quiet. I would assume this is probably perfect for my motor. So yeah, we're just going to throw it in. First, I'm going to clean it because it's a little greasy, especially on the mid pipe here where the axles kind of sit. So I'm going to scrub that with just some soap and water. So now that the exhaust is all clean and shiny, we're gonna go ahead and put this section in first, and then we're gonna go ahead and put the blast pipe section in last, just to make it easier, not all one piece, so I don't have to struggle trying to lift it up and, you know. So as you can see, we got the whole exhaust system in, and now I'm gonna go ahead and start the car and give you guys a little sound check. With the new ISR blast pipes. And with that, I think it sounds pretty damn good. So we're gonna try driving the car around maybe today and see how it sounds driving. And then I just have to make a little heat shield for up front here for the brake booster because it gets pretty dang hot right here. So I'm just gonna have something capped off right here, heat shield for this, so that'll help a little bit, and then we'll be good to drive. All right, so working on the 240 right now, I went ahead and drained the water a little bit here and took out the thermostat housing and put my thermostat back in with another hole right there at the bottom, so that way it will still bleed itself pretty nicely, and hopefully the cooling system will stay cool and not overheat anymore. I'm gonna throw an extra fan on the outside here and have it push air in. And then the fans that are in here were actually reverse polarized, so they were pushing air like through this way, so hot air was going through the radiator. That's terrible. So we're gonna have that pull in, so we'll have one pushing through and both pushing in. So we'll have cold air coming in at all times, and then I'm gonna wire that extra fan to a separate switch, so that way if I am overheating, I can just flip that one on, and then we'll have all three fans on at the same time. All right, so I got this sweet new switch panel here, and it came with some stickers to put on them after I put the switches to the correct spots. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this in. All right, so I have the extra fan in and wired correctly on the other side here, right in there, so that way we will have air pushing in, and then the two fans that I will install here that has the Mishimoto shroud will be pulling in air, so that way we'll get a little maximum cooling on this side of the radiator where it is most hot, and I hope that helps with the overheating issues. Also, I got the thermostat in now, and it's torqued, gasketed, so we're good on that. We just have to bleed the cooling system and get these fans fully wired up, and we should be good to go. All right, so I have all the switches wired in now. You can hear my fuel pump. That fan works. This fan doesn't work because the fans are not in yet, but I just wanted to test all this, make sure it works. I'm gonna go ahead and start it real quick. So it starts up with no issues. I got the fuel pump on and the accessory fan on for right now because I don't have the main fans in, as you can see here, but we have the accessory right there, and it should be blowing air right through here, so that's sweet. And then, all right, so I got the main fans in here, and now all I'm doing is taping up these sides because they have quite a big gap here, and that could have been part of the overheating issue. So I'm using some roofing tape that is meant to be on a hot ass roof, and yeah, we should have no issues there anymore. I'm gonna kind of double up, and that should be good. Do it on the same side, and then do it up top here and maybe down bottom, and we should be pretty solid. All right, so I fixed a little bit of wiring here for the power wire to go to these two fans here. And now we go over here and turn on the main fans. These are blowing air this way, and same with this singular fan is blowing air in, and this is sucking air in, so that way we can get cool air coming to the motor at all times. And even right here is usually a hot spot from these headers, so it'll help this a little bit. I'm gonna still make a heat shield going around the brake booster and kind of covering the headers from this area, so we'll figure that out as well, but the 3 fans should definitely help. So apparently there is a S-chassis meet today, and during all my drift prep, I have everything done. The car felt great when I drove it, and then I started to have a little leak here from the master leaking down the brake booster. So I let the car sit for a little while. I was gonna order another master. I thought, why not today, just figure out, see if the seal was just expanding because the engine bay was hot. Because like I said before, I wanted to make a heat shield that goes right here for the new one, so that would probably not cause that to do the same thing. So I have a sheet of aluminum here from one of my roofing jobs. I'm going ahead and bending up nice little corners here, so that way it looks somewhat professional, and kind of just sits in here pretty nice actually. Kind of goes around these wires here, so that way these are tucked in there as well. And then I made a hole there, and then a hole there, so it kind of covers the brake booster and master pretty well. And I'm hoping that will deflect a lot of heat that comes off of these headers. I'm gonna try and find my heat shield. I'm not sure if I have it or not, but I'm gonna double check. All right, so I went ahead and took my intercooler piping out from here and put my air filter straight down here, so that way we can get some colder air coming in here, because I think that my air filter is getting heat soaked in here, and that's also causing my motor to overheat. So we'll do that for now, and I'll just plug my MAF in, tighten this up here, and we'll call that a day. And I'm praying we don't have any more overheating issues. So hopefully this works, and we're just gonna go ahead and take it out and wash this crusty dusty thing. Alright, so another thing that's been bothering me is that this headlight looks like it's a bright light on all the time. So yeah, that's because this little cap fell off, and I'm gonna just take care of that if I can. Alright, so with the bulb now out, I have the little shield here. What happened is it broke off the mount from right there, and I believe I could just bend this and put another hole through it, and it should be fine. So currently this is temporarily fixed. All I did was take that and tuck it under where it broke and bolted it back down. Now I'm just gonna JV weld where it's broken at, and it should fix itself. Okay, so I made a mess of the garage, and I finally found my heat shield to my headers, and I went ahead and painted it real quick so I can throw this on and just go drive. So we're pulling out the welder. On my headers here, I have a broken bolt there and a broken bolt down there, but that bolt works, so I'm gonna go ahead and weld a stud to the headers right here where the bolt broke, and then that will just protrude, and I can slide it on like that, put a nut on it, and we'll be good to go. Out getting some food real quick before the meet, and we're not leaking out of the master right now. I'm not sure how that's possible, but I'm hoping that's because of the heat shields here. We got this one and this one now installed, so hopefully we'll make it. Alright, so we drove about like 30 minutes. The car seems fine. The only thing that I had happen was the headlight going out, so all I did was adjust the plug a little bit and it worked. So no overheating. It's kind of a cool-ish day towards the night here, so we'll see how it reacts the rest of the night.
Oh no, that was
Last one's at the meat gang. So, other than having the problems with the switches and the headlight being out, I went ahead and quickly solved those two issues by using another switch for the double fans, which end up actually blowing the switch because they're both running on one switch. So I'm going to just do 1 and 1, and then there'll just be 3 switches taking up the fans because I have that extra one in there. And then for the headlight issue, I did a quick fix just to turn these LEDs back on so I would at least have some sort of light going on here. And what I'm going to do to fix that is just throw my cheap little halogens back in for now and order up some new HIDs. And we should be good to go. The car didn't overheat or anything. The brake booster feels way less hot. I can actually keep my hand there. But the motor is still pretty hot. The radiator is still pretty hot. But those fans are putting in some work, and it keeps blowing that fuse. So let's get to fixing that. Alright, so I got my 2 fans now separated into one, and then I have my extra one, so another one. So I have 3 switches for all 3 fans, and now I shouldn't blow any more fuses or switches, and all of them do work. It's a little messy here right now, but this red one here, the 10 amp, is my fuel pump. The one right here is the passenger side main fan. This one here is the driver's side main fan. And this one here is the accessory outside fan. Went and took the 240 for quite a drive, and needless to say, everything works now and nothing is overloading a switch or a fuse. And what's going on down there in the floor over there with all the fuses hanging by fuse links, those will eventually be wired straight into my fuse blocks right there. So I'm not really too worried about that. I have a whole nother harness going in this car, and everything's going to be redone once again, but a little bit nicer this time. So the car's good, and I think that'll about wrap it up for this video. Thanks for watching me ramble for drift prep number 2 on the 240SX. We are going to be taking this car again to the track fairly soon, and hoping it's sooner than later. But so far so good, no issues, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.